Okay guys, so we're gonna do the active exhaust and we are gonna start with quiet. Here we go, that's quiet mode. Oh, okay, so this is normal mode right here. Not too loud whatsoever. Sounds really stock if you were to buy a Mustang. And this is quiet mode. This would be pretty much if you're just starting your car up and you don't want to piss off your neighbors. And you can hear it actually change too over. Yeah. You can definitely tell the difference in that. Yeah, that definitely sounds good. So there are the four different track mode, or the four different active exhaust modes on this car: quiet, normal, sport, and track. I like sport overall. Sport kind of reminds me of kind of like a Borla catback kind of, or maybe even a Magnaflow. And track, well, track explanatory for itself. It really opens it up. And Ford did a really good job with the active exhaust, and that's what I'm really impressed about besides the look of this car. I gotta say, my favorite thing besides the interior, the My Touch, is definitely the exhaust. But with these companies making the active exhaust, to be able to just configure what Ford has done, spend the extra money and keep the active exhaust, because I promise you it'll sound a lot better with the different modes that you can do with the sound, instead of just having one pitch sound the entire time. Color, clutcher appearance, all that.
It's so cool.
My mode. How do you get the one that shows like the RPM going like this?
Go back, and that's depending on your mode. So if you go to sport mode, it changes. Then if you go to sport plus, it stays the same. If you go to track, it goes completely. And then you have drag mode, which stays the same as track.
Okay, so pretty much every mode that you're putting it in, does it?
It changes a little bit. Now you can actually dive down into it when you go to like the My Gauge, and you can customize, so you can get like your track, you can get like your sport mode look like track mode. I haven't had time enough to sit down and play with everything, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. This is actually my first time driving a 15 kind of, almost.
And make a rate?
Yeah.
I definitely like the all digital dash, and when I ordered mine, it was a debate between, do I want to wait, do I just want to get a new 5.0 with the digital dash, and I was like, nah, I really want that 5.2.
I think you made a good decision, especially the one that came in today. That is a really good color.
Yeah, my boss ordered that one and did the black roof and everything, so it was definitely a nice color combination.
Oh yeah. So what is going on, guys? Today Chris here bringing you another video, and I have to thank Andrew for letting me do this ride along and a review in this 2018 Mustang. It is a all black manual 5.0, and it is the brand new one that has just recently come out. Now, I spotted this one a couple weeks ago, and well, I guess I talked to you guys into actually letting me do a video, which I really appreciate. So hands off, like, you have a GT 350, yep, and you've had a 14. So being in like an 18 with the new like trim and stuff, I really dig the Recaro seats, the trim with it, and the two-tone leather, kind of like how the door panels actually match the seat. Yeah, no, it's a really nice color combo. Basically, Ford came out with what they call showstopper red interior, and they put the little two-tone on the door panels with matching red stitching. It's definitely a very nice look. I was definitely very impressed with what Ford did with the 18s. They changed a little bit of the outside, but where everything's at is within the interior. It's really nice. Yeah, and like coming from like a 14, I've always been in the 14s. I know someone with a 13 that I did a review on. It was a V6, but like when you get to, I guess, the once you upgrade to like the 15, everyone was like, you know, the Mustang looks more like a sports car. It's not a Mustang anymore.
It does. It went from that old, and having a 14 and doing a little bit of the mods I did to it, and then, you know, when I started selling cars for Ford and I got to drive some of the 15s and 16s with the independent rear suspension, it really did liven the car up a lot. It did make it a lot more into a sports car.
It's like hopping into this 18, and I've ridden, like I said, I haven't driven that many S550s, but I have ridden in plenty of them, like an EcoBoost or the an S550 GT. Hands off, the suspension, the magnetic ride on this car, this one comes with it, and the active exhaust with the quad tips, and that's the difference between, you know, the first gen, I guess, 15 to the second. So you get,
that's correct,
the magnetic ride suspension, like, I guess, kind of helps the car when you're cornering and stuff. It kind of balances the car out a lot.
It makes it corner a lot better. Basically, I don't know if y'all are familiar with MagneRide suspension. It's basically is a magnetic liquid that's in each shock, and you can basically just with the push of a button make it a little harder, a little softer. I'm gonna make a left here. And so it stiffens it up, and then when you put it in sport mode or track mode or whatever you want to do, it does change it as it goes through that.
So pretty much, in sense of people that like do drag racing, in like my case with my car, I have like where the settings I can manually adjust them with the knob, like the dampering and stuff. So it helps that a lot. And I really love, like you were saying, with like you have the different modes and you can set from track, you know, drag strip, sport mode. It gives you the how Ford's carry like integrated with the My Touch with the different colors, but you have all these different things you can do now. Like you can have your speedometer set like, you know, a digital gauge like right now, and then you can have it where the RPMs shoot over like this, and I'll get a video of that. And then I like how they kept the oil pressure right here, and then you have pretty much, you know, just you have your layout is really nice. And I guess the engineers finally talked over to Ford. We're like, you know, the cup holders are over here, so you're not hitting, like my case, like I can't have a drink up here, but I can have one back here. That's really it. So
yeah, that's pretty much how my 14 was. And every time you go to shift, you have to either reach your arm up or over to try to get around the drink. So yeah, Ford definitely did a very, very good job with the interior for the 18s and the first generation S550s, 15, 16, 17. They weren't bad, but the 18s have definitely taken that next step up.
Definitely. And I mean, driving this car so far, just barely even driving it out of the dealership parking lot to actually just coming here, I can tell the steering's really tight. The car wants to, you know, the IRS, since they integrated the IRS now, the car just, it feels like it just wants to go where you want to go. It's not like mine where it's just like so stiff and you feel every bump in the road.
Yeah, I've definitely been impressed driving the MagneRide suspensions, and when you hit a bump, it's not nearly as bumpy as my old 14 was, and it really is very, very nice.
And it doesn't sound bad for stock either.
No, it's actually, and I've been around Mustangs for a long time. My brother had a special order to 2007 when he got out of college. My dad has had a couple of them. My uncles had them. It's by far the loudest stock GT that I've ever heard, and actually it's just in normal mode right now.
Oh,
so you still have race, or you still have sport, and I think it's race mode for different exhaust levels. And basically how that works is you have the quad tips, the inner tips basically have a little valve in them, why they call it active valve, and they just open more when you put it in different modes to make the car louder.
Yeah, a couple years ago I saw that BBK, the Veritune muffler, I think it is, that you can manually change it, but it opens it up, like it opens it to like more of a chambered, or not a chambered, kind of like a Flowmaster exhaust. So you have that ability to, but yeah. Have you driven the automatic, the 10-speed? Because I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, you're driving the manual, the MT82. We already know all about that, but...
I have not. We've only had one 10-speed come in. That was in an EcoBoost. So, got to drive it, but I haven't been able to drive one sitting behind the Coyote yet. They actually, Ford produced they produced stuff in sections. So they produced the manuals up front, and now they're running the automatics. So we should be getting some automatics here shortly. But I've not been able to drive a 10-speed yet. I'm very interested to see how that is.
To let you guys know, from what I've heard and watched other videos, I've heard the 10-speed automatic is really, it's a step into the future, especially I think that's the way Ford is going to go now. Nowadays, a lot of cars are going like, instead of manual mode, they're going automatic, and they're going to have that many gears. And I've heard it's really, really good. It's, I believe, based off the 6R80 transmission. I believe so. If I'm wrong, correct me wrong in the comments, but I believe it's like probably the best transmission Ford has probably produced. I know a lot of people hate the MT82. Myself personally, I have a TR 3650 in my car, and I can tell you the MT82 is probably a lot better. It's not as notchy, and it shifts a lot smoother. But I guess if you're going like drag racing and all out, you might as well build it or go something built.
Yeah, and going from the MT82 I had in my 14 and now having the T6 that's in the Shelby is definitely a whole lot of difference there. But I would say just from driving the shift points and everything for the 18 compared to my 14, the 18 is definitely a lot better. I don't necessarily know if Ford has changed the shifter or they've changed what, but I do know it definitely feels a whole lot nicer than my 14 did.
And here, a thing that I've actually heard with, so I heard that these cars have like a neighbors friendly.
That is correct.
So it's like, so you can set your time when the car warms up, and it won't be as loud. It will be like a normal quiet mode.
Yeah, basically the 4 exhaust modes that they have is neighbor mode or quiet mode. Then normal that's what we're cruising on right now. Then you have, I believe it's sport mode, and I think the loudest is track mode, or it might be race mode, one of the two. But yeah, basically what it is, if you get the automatics, and they do come with remote start, because you can't get a remote start in the manual. You can, but it's very, you got to do all these things. It's not worth it. It's not offered from the factory. Yeah, basically. And if you do that, you can basically set your vehicle to start up in the morning, and it'll automatically start up on neighbor mode. So obviously you don't have race mode blaring up and waking all your neighbors up in the beginning.
So pretty much like for the inside of the car, we've gotten to like, you still have the My Touch that carried over from the S550, and the first two gens of the Coyote, 11 to 12 and 13 to 14, and Ford has really done a great job with the layout of it. You still have all this, when the first S550 came out at, the Mustang anniversary, the kind of like the fake carbon fiber look, but the trim, I love it. You still have your switches here, so nothing has drastically changed, I would say, but except for in the cluster itself, I feel like Ford put a lot more time and money into making like the layout much better, and then they kind of it's kind of like when you had the 94 to 98 and then they went from 99 to 04, they focused more on the outside but had the same interior, just a few upgrades on changing seats with the Recaros, trim, colors, all that stuff.
Yep, that's right. I haven't personally owned anything past the 2010. 2010 was my first Mustang. But just from the little bit I've been around them, yeah, that's kind of what the interiors changes. They focused a lot on the exterior for going from 14 to the 15. And then when they made the jump from the 17 into an 18, they made a little adjustments here or there with the exterior. Taillight's a little different, hood is a little bit better, hood's a little bit more flat for the 18, but they concentrated a lot on the interior.
Yeah, when they first came out, a lot of people didn't like the front end, and I really like it. I've seen some of the SEMA cars that they did, the SEMA builds, like CJ Pony Parts, or I'm not sure if they did one this year, but like some of the SEMA builds or whatever, the cars that they've done, I really like it a lot. And now all these companies like American Muscle, LMR, and CJs have gotten their hands on the 15, or not the 15, have gotten their hands on the 18s, and they've been taking them to the track. Team Beefcake Racing put a nitrous kit on the car. VMP has done something, so a lot of people are taking these cars to the track and seeing what they're running. 12s. Team Beefcake Racing, I believe, got like a 1060, if I'm not wrong. It's either 1060 or 1080 in the quarter mile with the nitrous. So these cars can do a lot, and the exterior changes that I've noticed, like you said, they come standard now with a quad tip exhaust, which I love.
Definitely a good feature. That's one of the first things I had to do with my 14 was I really wanted to put quad tip exhaust on it, and I ended up doing that.
Yeah, I did it with mine, even though mine are just, you know, the Stang mod ones, and they're like $100, but it was definitely worth it. Definitely changed its car. Like you said, the taillights. Now the side kind of seemed the same, and the front end was the big, you know, downfall for many people, but it's grown on a lot of people that I've seen, and I really like it a lot, and I think the aftermarket world is going to be open to this. And now these cars are rated at...
Like right here, at this light up here.
Okay. These cars are rated at 460 horsepower and 420 torque, and the Coyote that's in my car, the generation before, was 435, 440, you know, 400 foot-pounds. So not a big jump, but a big enough jump to notice, especially with the direct injection and the active exhaust. A lot of exhaust companies now, like Magnaflow, I've seen, exhaust is going to be a little more now because they have that, you know, that ability to where it's going to be, if you want to keep the active exhaust, I believe you can have the option between the two.
Yeah, you can have the option. If you wanted to go aftermarket, you could either stay with, all right,
yeah,
you could stay with, you know, the active valve exhaust, which it always is a nice feature, because if you ever did want to use the neighbor mode or anything like that, you could do that, but you have to pay a little bit more money. Or you can just go with the straight not active exhaust and just leave it on one mode, and it'd save you a couple dollars. So really, that would be a decision y'all would have to make yourselves.
Yeah, I personally would probably go with the active. I just like the ability to have all that, being if you don't want to be loud, because my car is super loud, and you know, if you don't want to piss off your neighbor, not that a lot of people care, but the justification being that you can be polite about it, I guess. I don't know, I would just rather spend the few extra dollars and go with the active exhaust, because I feel like the company's going to spend more money towards that rather than the old school, you know, slap on a catback and an off-road X and boom, there you go, you got how loud you are. And your foot determines by hitting the gas, put on RPMs, how loud you're going to be.
That is correct.
But this car overall, just driving this car, I don't feel anything. The suspension is really, really good. I haven't really got on the car, but I can just tell overall, being in this car,
Keep straight. Yep.
Being in this car, it would definitely turn heads. So if you guys are looking for an 18 Mustang, make sure to like hit up a dealership near you, and this is definitely a car that we'd want. I mean, I'm barely even getting on it, and I can tell this car just wants to go, and it feels a lot smoother than mine, of course. I'm on coilovers, and this is, you know, new technology, and this is something I would, if I had to do it again, I'd probably buy an 18 right now. And it's not too late. I could always sell my car if someone's looking.
Yeah, and hey, I got a perfect one right here.
Exactly. I love this color. I love the black. I do like the new colors that they have. Like I said in a past video, I'm gonna change the color of my car to the 17 silver. I forgot what the color code is.
Ingot silver.
Silver.
Ingot silver is the name of it. I'm not 100% sure what the code is for it though.
But I mean, it seems a lot kind of like lighter. There's a few people I follow on Instagram that they have the 17s, and it looks badass in the sun. Like just the pictures they have. Of course, editing is done and stuff like that, but overall, it's still good.
In one of these intros. Only thing Ford has never done, or they did for a very short amount of time and did away with, is I wish they would put some sort of glass roof in the cars.
Yeah.
Again.
There is one person I actually know that has I believe it's a 12 or a 13 with a glass roof. And it was custom ordered, and it's really pretty, and I like it a lot.
Ford they did have that as an option back in 13 and 14, but you didn't see a whole lot of them with it. Before my dad got his Corvette, he actually almost bought a 14 GT500 with it in grabber blue.
I bet that thing would be nice. Just take it right out here.
Yeah, right's fine.
So you can hear this kind of like clicking sound a little bit. It's kind of faint sound, but you can hear the exhaust kind of clicking over to where I guess it's opening more and closing more for the sound to be able to get louder, not as loud. But so I'm getting on the car a little bit and kind of on this, not back road, but it's a little somewhat of turns. Not gonna be able to really test the car out. If it was my car, I would be able to, so I need to buy one probably to be able to do that. But testing this car out around some of these turns, you can definitely tell the suspension is really, really tight, and it's not, the steering wheel isn't loose at all, it's really tight. So I mean, I can only imagine what the aftermarket world is going to do for these cars with lowering springs or coilovers or even air ride suspension. which a lot of people do, but for stock, it's not bad at all. I'm really glad that Ford integrated the magnetic rod from the GT 350 to the standard GTs and the quad tip exhaust with the active mode. It really steps the car game up for Ford, and it definitely challenges these other companies to step their game up to want to be able to, you know, compete with something this great. And a lot of people are still on the fence, you know, oh, it doesn't look like a Mustang, it's more of a sports car. But Ford was like, you know, we want the Mustang to be a worldwide car, not just an American car. So we're gonna make it look like a sports car, but we're still gonna have the feel and the power of a Mustang. And it does show some resemblance of the older classic Mustang, kind of like the, would you say like fastback?
Yeah, they basically, when the 15s came out, Ford kind of said they were kind of trying to do a little throwback to like the 67, 66, 67 body styles with just the slope of the rear glass, basically make it more look like a traditional fastback. So that's basically what they did with it. And, you know, the front end has changed a little bit, but, you know, I mean, overall, it's still got the running horse badge, so it's still a Mustang. Things change, but the car has changed for the better, in my opinion.
Yes, and it's one of, do I take it right here?
Left.
The Mustang has always been an iconic car since 1964 and a half. You know, the first one rolled off the lot, and then it's gone through its variants, and they almost went away with it, you know, sticking with the Ford Probe, which would have been a horrible idea. And you saw the Probe fell, you know, after a couple of years. And I don't know, I feel like people had the same reaction to when they saw a Fox body. You know, people were like, what the hell is that? And then, you know, you had the Fox body for right, I'd say 20 years, just about.
It was close. It was very close to 20 years, and a lot of people like it. Some people still don't like Fox bodies. You know, some people still don't like the S550s. But you know, the car is here. It's great. Just the technology that Ford is putting in it. And I mean, even if you look at it, you know, you have the muscle car enthusiasts that like the solid rear axles. They're really, other than the Challenger and the Charger, you know, the Camaro's gone to a independent rear, you know, with Magnarite suspension, and that's where everything is headed now, just because the days of going drag racing, you can still do those, but now everyone's focused on track times and how fast does it go in a circle.
How fast can I get this car, you know, like when you talk about drag racing, people are, you know, they take these cars right away. These, like I said, these, you know, these
350 right there.
I love that color. Actually, he goes to my school, actually. I see his car. Yeah, I see his car all the time.
That's the first time I've seen him.
It's really loud. But it sounds damn good. But you see these cars, and, you know, people buy them up like that. And then all these companies, aftermarket companies, are doing what they can, performance-wise. You know, they run the car stock. You know, they put driver in the seat, and then like, all right, let's see what we can get. Okay, we're gonna add nitrous. We're gonna add this intake, and, you know, we're gonna add these headers and this supercharger, this turbo kit. And I love that people have done that with mainly the Mustangs. Over there, they do like a lot of military. So definitely, guys, getting on this a little bit. If you're familiar with the Chester area, I'm right near Dutch Gap, and you know how they have all these turns and stuff like that. So definitely able to get on and open this car up some. And it's smooth. I really hope someone buys this car. I wish I could just buy it right now. I mean, going around these turns, about 50 or something, I'm not going to get on it. It's not my car, it's a dealer car. So I'm just going to open it a little bit for you guys. And this car is planned itself, and it's just ready to go. Going around these turns, the magnetic ride suspension. I mean, I'm not going fast enough for it to be like, oh my god, but I can just tell you the suspension is tight, and this car is, it's ready to go, and it's ready to break some necks and turn some heads.
Be a wonder, just take his car, you know, put a little tune on it and an intake, and let it open up quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I just
being such a Mustang person, it's hard to work at a dealership where all the cars are sitting, because then I want one every time I see a new one.
Yeah, and you're just like, what? I like mine, but okay, I'll keep mine, but I want that front fascia for the car, or I want this hood. And then you see, you know, they put something else out and you're like, well crap, what do I want, you know? But overall guys, if you are looking for a car, this is the official review that I've done. So that's gonna do it for this video guys. I hope you enjoyed this kind of official review of a 2018 Mustang GT. It's a badass car. It's, you know, the magnetic ride, the active exhaust, everything with this car is just that much better. You know, I wasn't big on the front part of the car, the way it looked in front, but seeing it in person and being able to drive it really has changed my mind. It's pretty much like a religion. I'm totally accepting my faith with this car, and this car is really worth it guys. So I want to thank Andrew for coming along and letting me take this car out and do a review of it and get some pictures of it and to put something out for you guys to watch and have fun with. And I got to thank the Haley Ford dealership in Chester, Virginia. That's where this car is. I'll put their address in the link. Check the car out, come make an appointment, drive it, and I promise you, you won't be dissatisfied. You want to buy it. Now, the sticker price is right around $50,000. That's for you to justify if you want to spend that much money or not. Honestly, I would. Ford's done a great job with the new 5.0, and if I didn't swap my car with the new 5.0 motor, I'd probably be coming knocking on the door for the dealership right now and probably walking out with this car or some color, probably silver or black, because I really like these colors. So make sure to share, subscribe, smash that like button, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one. And there's the gauge layout guys. It has to be my favorite thing about this car besides the exhaust. I just love how Ford has this layout. Pretty much what you're looking at guys, if you're thinking about getting a 18 Mustang GT, totally worth it. And I will put a link in the description below. It will lead you straight to this dealership, their website, where you can check out, make an appointment, and come buy this 2018 Mustang GT I did a review on. Hopefully you do, because one person is going to be very lucky and very happy when they get that car.